Geschätzte Zuschauerschaft.
Valued viewers, with dangerous tenacity, the Western media is currently creating a moral instrument which is supposed to justify a war against Russia. Yesterday Hitler and Danzig, today Putin and Donetsk. Highway to hell, Putin will perish. Or, how far are we letting Putin go? Or Putin's secret invasion. These are the current headlines of the big German newspapers. The rumor of a Russian invasion in Ukraine is used to cause war-tired Europeans to gradually get to the point of taking arms. In school, we all learned that in the past there were evil aggressors which could only be overcome through war. The motto, "No war, never again war," in our education was always connected to this clause. Should a leader like Hitler ever rise up again, then one would have to make an exception and sacrifice himself. The hour for this exception seems to have come. Polish intellectuals are appealing in major newspapers not to commit the same mistakes with Putin as we did with Hitler 75 years ago. As they understand history, the Western elites had been much too tolerant towards Hitler when the free city of Danzig acceded, joining the German Reich before the Second World War. This supposedly cost the world dearly. The British Prime Minister, David Cameron, demands the same thing. We should not act as nonchalantly towards Russia as we did towards Germany before the Second World War. Die Welt, the world, in an article with the title, "The NATO must find a hard answer to Putin," says, in the case where Russia proceeds like it has, the NATO should use the Mutual Defense Clause, which means they should declare war. But now the most important question. Is there any Russian invasion in Ukraine? The OSCE, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, which independently observed the war front in eastern Ukraine, disclaims. They say there are no hints for any presence of Russian troops on Ukrainian ground. At the same time, former high-ranking U.S. Secret Service agents have warned in an open letter to Angela Merkel that the supposed evidence for an alleged Russian invasion is extremely dubious and reminds of the false evidence prior to the attacks on Iraq. They also point out that the timing of this message was purposely chosen because the Ukrainian army has been slipping more and more into a defensive position during the past weeks, due to their chaotic organization and technologically desolate condition. So with the Russian invasion, they found an excuse for their withdrawal. Exactly at the same time, these unclear NATO photos were published, and reporters like Michael Gordon from the New York Times were let loose to spread rumors like, "The Russians are coming." By the way, Michael Gordon was one of the most monstrous propagandists for the Iraq War. Ladies and gentlemen, up until this day, we have only been able to observe a NATO invasion. The NATO tirelessly advances towards the east and has now just announced the creation of a special unit of 4,000 special troops, which can be deployed with lightning speed. Germany is also involved in this. Aside from this, they want 1,000 NATO soldiers, 600 of which are U.S. soldiers, to be stationed on the Ukrainian borders, allegedly to show solidarity with Ukraine. But all of this clearly reveals the NATO is seeing itself in a mirror. The opposite of what they claim is happening. So please help us to spread this broadcast and help stop these warmongers. Our nations must not let themselves be drawn into another European war. Join us again next time.